And so you go 5 rounds with the longest reigning one championship champion in the organization right now. And then, was it like 2 days later you started this crazy...
Yeah, 1 or 2 days. I rested for a bit. I'm like, let's do this
That's not resting, dude. 1 or 2 days is not resting. So you did this David Goggins challenge, and what was that?
So it's a 2 days challenge. So you run like 6 miles every 4 hours for 12 sets total. But I did 1 extra set because my friend dared me to.
That's
fucking
so stupid, first of all. Second of all,
I know.
crazy.
In retrospect, I'm like, why was I so dumb?
But dude, that's the most badass shit I've ever heard in my life. Listen, David Goggins is a badass. I'd like to go see that dude fight 5 rounds and then go try to do one of those challenges.
That'd be crazy.
Dude, that is fucking nuts. You David Goggins. I'm gonna tag him in this video and see if he can fucking share this, man. Because that is badass, and you probably almost died from it.
Yeah, I know.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stronghold podcast. I'm here with the number 1 fucking contender in the one championship strawweight division, Tiffany Teo. 2 days off of her most recent fight against Meng Bo. Tiffany, how are you feeling, dude? You look great.
Yeah, I feel good.
You can see on the camera here, you're looking good, dude. No, not.
Yeah, just some bruises.
It's not too bad though.
Yeah.
I didn't know because some of those shots were landing pretty clean, and you never know like how it's gonna look the next day. Like sometimes you can look pretty good.
Yeah.
So is it just that like eye or?
Yeah, just the eye, a bit of on my nose here, and my jaw is a bit sore, but yeah, all good besides that.
Did she hit you with anything that was there any point in the fight where she hit you with something and you were like, oh shit? 'Cause she looked powerful, man.
Yeah,
like, she has good striking.
Yeah, she has good striking, and I feel like she has power for sure. And it's like after the first few exchanges, I'm like, all right, gonna take this bitch down. I'm not gonna stand and strike with her.
It was a really good fight, man. And we were just talking before the podcast that you've basically just cleaned out. You and Panda have basically just cleaned out the division.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that girl's a badass, by the way. For people that don't know on the podcast, she's one of the only person other than Rose Namajunas to have a win over Jang Weili.
Oh yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean, she's got a good record. Jake, can you pull her up on Tapology? Let's take a look at what her record is.
I think she has like 20 over fights.
Yeah. And she looked good, man. She looked pretty good in that early bit. And yet here you are as the number 1 contender, still the top ranked Singaporean fighter in the fucking world. How'd it feel? How'd it feel afterward? Were you just...
Yeah, it felt really good to be back, fighting. Because, so what happened after the Panda fight? So I think I told you about it. I couldn't sweat.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was a weird condition. I went to the doctor. He said it's very rare. Like horses get it. I'm like, okay, I'm not a fucking horse. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that information? Yeah, and then he treated someone who has a similar condition, but it takes about half a year to a year to recover. And I was doing my research online, and there are people who just live with it for the rest of their life. But it doesn't affect them that much because they're not an athlete. It's like, yeah, if you're just a normie who don't work out, you can't sweat, like just stay in the air-conditioned room. But as an athlete, I had to sweat, I had to. And I tried to train, and I had to pour water on myself to like kind of keep myself like don't overheat. So at the end of a training session, I'll be pouring water, but my rash guard will be dry. Because that's how warm my body is. It's like drying up the rash guard. Yeah, so, and I couldn't really train, and there's no way I could fight because my body would overheat and I would like gas out, and I just can't function. So it was a very weird period of my life, and a part of me thought that, maybe that's it. Maybe I just can't.
You never know with stuff like that, right? It's a very rare condition. I mean, I've never heard of anybody.
I was like, athletes with anhydrosis. I'm like, no fucking athletes have had this before. I'm the first athlete. Yeah.
What's it called?
Anhydrosis. A-N...
You look that up, Jake?
H-Y. I don't know. You can type it.
Anhydrosis?
Yeah.
So you came to Stronghold one time, and shortly after... I can't remember when it was, but you came and you trained with us, and I remember like I rolled with you, and I'd been sweating already. It was like maybe the third round, and I remember like we started the roll, and usually people were really slippery. There was friction, and you can feel it, right? Like when our like skin sticks together when you normally slide, it's like this weird.
I was like just dry as fuck.
Like, you'd mentioned it to me that you had that, and I forgot. But then when we rolled, I was like, damn, this is crazy. Like we're sitting here rolling jiu-jitsu, and I feel like this friction of our skin touching together. Did you happen to find anything on that?
Yeah.
Can you throw it up there? Let's see what the hell this thing is, because that was crazy.
Yeah.
I've never rolled with somebody and just felt like sticky to them, like quite like that.
So Anhydrosis is the inability to sweat normally. When you don't sweat, your body can't cool itself, which can lead to overheating and sometimes heat stroke and potentially a potential fatal condition, Tiff. So probably.
Yeah, I was hospitalized because of that. You know, I was
Wow,
teaching
that's
one
crazy.
day, and then the gym was kind of hot, and then my body just overheated. I went to the toilet, and my pee was like brown color.
Oh, no.
I was like, okay, I'm dehydrated as fuck.
Yeah.
And I just went to hospital straight, and they.
But you're still drinking, right?
Yeah,
you're still
yeah.
drinking
Yeah,
normally.
I'm
You're
still
just not
drinking.
sweating.
Yeah. So they put me on like IV drips and did like blood tests.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a crazy condition. I've heard. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that started from that Goggins thing, right? And
Yeah, fuck Goggins, man.
So, so Tiffany, first of all, Tiffany
Don't do the
Teo.
challenge. Don't do it.
Tiffany Teo is such a fucking badass, right? This is how badass this lady is, all right? Right after you fought Panda for a world championship fight, 5 rounds, razor close decision that we thought you won. And we did the live podcast for it. If you want to watch the live reaction to that, it was fucking crazy because we were all like bated breath waiting for that decision. And so you go 5 rounds with the longest reigning one championship champion in the organization right now. And then was it like 2 days later you started this crazy
1 or 2 days I rested for a bit. I'm like, yeah, let's do this.
that's not resting, dude. 1 or 2 days is not resting. So you did this David Goggins challenge, and what was that?
So it's a 2 days challenge. So you run like 6 miles every 4 hours for 12 sets total.
So
But I did 1 extra set because my friend dared me to.
that's
So
fucking
I did
so
30
stupid,
I did
first of
30
all.
sets.
Second of all,
I know.
crazy.
In retrospect, I'm like, why was I so dumb?
You're such a savage, dude. So what is it? So describe for the listeners what the sequence is, like what you had to do in order to make this goal. So say it again. It was
So I ran 6 miles. Sorry, 4 miles. 6 miles for every 4 hours.
every 4 hours
Yeah, so
for 2 days.
For 2 days. So 4 hours after you finish, you rest and then you go again and rest, go again, rest and go. The first few sets, the first 3 to 4 sets, it was okay. And then the 6th set, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm feeling it everywhere. But I'm like, fuck, I'm halfway through, I don't quit now.
Yeah,
so I
exactly.
just kept pushing on.
And just to explain this, like to go deeper on it, that means you're not sleeping. That means
just
you're
doing
getting
power
like
naps.
1 to 2 hours, and then you
Yeah.
got to get up because you have to
Yeah.
eat still. You have to shower. You have shit to do in between every
Yeah.
4 hour every 4 hour window.
Yeah.
So for 2 days, you're just stealing a couple hours of sleep every
just
time you can
power
get it.
napping. Yeah.
Boom, hour and a half.
Yeah,
Wake up,
yeah.
get ready, run.
Yeah.
Because the run takes time out of
It
that
takes
as well.
about an hour. An hour at the start, but after that it takes like longer because you get more tired.
Yeah, so it takes. So you have to do every 4 hours, and the
Yeah.
run takes an hour.
Yeah.
And then you gotta. Do you time it from like after you finish the run, or is that part of the? Is
After I
that
finish the run.
is the time that you're running part of the?
It is.
So you're not
So you have 4
sleeping.
hours to do the
Oh,
run and
dude,
everything,
that is
yeah.
brutal. And because of that, you developed a combination of probably the fight plus
probably,
that.
Yeah.
But dude, that's the most badass shit I've ever heard in my life. Listen, David Goggins is a badass. I'd like to go see that dude fight 5 rounds and then go try to do one of those challenges.
That'd be crazy.
Dude, that is fucking nuts. You out David Goggins. David Goggins. I'm gonna tag him in this video and see if he can fucking
you
share
do
this,
this?
man. Because that is badass, and you probably almost died from it.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god. So how long did it take you to recover from that?
About 6 to 8 months. Yeah. So at the start, I was kind of skeptical when I started taking medication because it took like 2-3 months to start seeing a bit of results, to like sweat a little bit more. Yeah. So, but I wasn't too optimistic about the whole situation. Yeah. But eventually it came back. I'm like, oh yeah, I think I can fight again. Yeah.
So how relieving was it when you actually started? Like, was it a slow process where you felt yourself finally starting to sweat?
Yeah. It was a very slow process. Yeah. Like
And
Major, like when we train at Matrix, he has to make the room like fucking cold. Everyone is freezing. I'm like, yeah, this is just nice.
Also counterproductive
Yeah.
because training when you're cold is pretty rough.
Yeah.
Rough on the old body.
I've torn all my muscles.
Yeah, taking throws and double legs and shit on rock hard mats. Wow, man. I mean, that is insane. And then, so you finally started to get through. Were you like offered fights in that time that you couldn't
I was
take, or?
offered a fight against a Brazilian chick, so I couldn't take it, and it was partly because of my COVID, my second jab. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
there was like a time limit for me to take my second dose, and it's like right on the day when I was fighting. Because I didn't want to take the jab, and then it fucks with my training camp.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like a weird time frame.
Plus, you never know, right? Like young people working out really, really hard after the jabs is
I
not.
guess they want to like
not a
take the
good move.
risk.
Yeah, not a good
It's
move.
like a wild cut. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you're already dealing with a pre-existing condition
Yeah,
that's pretty
exactly.
crazy too.
Yeah.
and then you're training and you're fighting. Yeah, I mean that's just that's a lot.
Yeah.
So what was the training camp, or what was the thought process going into this fight? Because Meng Bo's very good. She's got really good hands. And I want to actually, before we do that, I want to make a little bit of a comment, because you texted me, Jake, after we were discussing Tiffany coming on the podcast, and you were talking about that like crucifix
Cheat code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because first of all, Major, your coach, he's definitely got the best crucifix in Singapore. He's got one of the best, because it's such a niche position.
Yeah, it is.
But we saw Kai Xiong, who just won his last fight by TKO with the topside crucifix, elbows. And then for the difference, if the listeners don't know, I mean, the one championship rules are very different than the UFC rules. And in one championship, you can knee the head of a downed opponent. And people are starting to adapt, and Major, I think, is the quickest to adapt to this, because you can see that you guys have a system of kneeing the head from that cross side position. I mean, at the end or middle of that second round when you took her down, you had her arm trapped behind her with one hand, and then the other hand you're like using a plum and you're trying to knee her in the head. I've never seen anybody do that before, because you can knee the head from there. And then you started and then what was this other position then you went to the half Nelson, which it doesn't really work so much in the UFC, because you can't ground and pound from there, because you're committing that arm to the neck. So you've got her in like a top side half Nelson, almost like a Thai plum, and you're pulling her head into your knee.
And kind of like kills a frame to block also.
Exactly. And then the only alternative is to turn your back. So you're double trapped, because the half Nelson is keeping her away from turning into you. So it's either eat those knees or turn your back. And the transition where you go from back to side control, because she's turning away from you over and over again, the ground and pound there is just so much more dangerous when you can knee the head. Are you guys like working that? Are you working a lot of that?
We've been working a lot of those transitions during the whole camp.
How are you drilling like knees to? Do you guys wear knee pads? How are you?
So for Christmas, Major got me elbow and knee pads.
Oh, nice. That's a good fucking Christmas gift from your coach. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah. And then when everyone at the gym, they saw it, they're like, oh fuck.
We're about to eat these knees.
Yeah. They're like, why do you do this?
So how much are you guys? So in your MMA. What's going on?
Oh, no,
pull a little closer. You might be able to tilt it towards you. You can twist it toward.
Okay.
So you can actually turn it in this direction. There we go.
All right, got it.
So yeah, like you guys are doing that in your sparring rounds. You're keeping the knee pads on. You're kneeing each other from the side
for
controls.
The sparring rounds, even for drills. Even
for drills.
Yeah,
because you guys are changing the game there. I mean, I haven't seen anybody adapt to the rules. Like, I mean, what does it feel like to throw the knees from that position, to just have that and just be crushing
those knees? Yeah, it felt great, because I took quite a few punches during the stand-up exchange. So I'm like, it's payback time, bitch. I was like, just knee the shit out of her head.
And once you got the takedown, did you feel like pretty strong? Like
I felt strong. Like after I got the takedown, and I felt like she couldn't do much on the ground. Like she was struggling to get up.
You were landing a couple of nice shots there in that first round too. Caught her with a nice 2. You caught her with a good left hook, some low kicks. You guys, it looked like your calf had a little redness on it.
She kicks hard. She's a hard puncher for sure.
Was your calf sore the next day?
It was okay the next day, but it turned really red quick.
I saw it. I saw it on the broadcast that it was red.
Like after a couple of rounds, a couple of kicks, it was like red instantly. But after the fight, I felt okay. I wasn't like having any trouble walking or anything.
So just like the soreness of the eye. You don't even have really too much of a black eye, but you'll still get the soreness.
Just a bit swelling over here and my jaw. I think one of the punch she landed, my jaw was open.
Oh yeah.
So like I took it and it's a bit sore now.
I have that habit too, of keeping my mouth open sometimes when I'm sparring. It's you got to bite down on that thing and make those muscles tight. Yeah, man. So you and Panda have pretty much cleaned out this division. So I mean, you mentioned it on the broadcast. Jake loved it. He just told me.
That was my favourite bit of like the entire thing. When you're like, oh, do you want to fight Panda next? No, I'll fight anyone. I'll take them all.
Atom weight, straw weight, they can all get some.
Flyweights too.
Flyweights too.
Let's go.
You and Kai Xiong calling out every motherfucker out there. I like it. You guys are crazy, perfect together, I think. Kai Xiong's currently, who was the guest in December, and he's in there playing the PlayStation right now with Charmaine in the living room. So yeah, I mean, what do you think they do? I mean, I'm still all about the Angela Lee fight. I mean, I just think that'd be such a wasted opportunity if you guys don't get to do that.
Yeah.
Like
I think it has to happen eventually, right? If I want to go, especially if I'm going down to atom weight, like she's fighting atom and straw. I'm going down to atom. Like it has to happen. Yeah.
Plus, you're the number one contender in this division, and depending on how she does with Stamp, I mean, how do you think Stamp and Angela is gonna go?
I think I'll give it to Angela, like just also the experience wise. Yeah, and I feel like Angela has better grappling and takedowns. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the wrestling will be the difference there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not overly impressed by Stamp's like armbar against Ritu. I mean, it's impressive for her. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I don't think that will have much sway on her fight with Angela.
True.
Right, because the grappling level is so different.
It's different. Yeah.
And I don't know what Ritu was doing when she was defending that armbar. I mean, that was...
She probably doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah, the problem was she wasn't defending the armbar. That's what went so wrong with it.
I mean, but you'd think that she'd be picking that up. I mean, she had some really bad defensive movement, and she also had a win over Ayaka, right? Ayaka.
Meng Bo. She fought Meng Bo.
Meng Bo, that's right.
Meng
That's
Bo,
what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. But I think Angela will probably get through Stamp. And then, dude, you next. That would be...
Yeah, it'll be fun.
How would you, without giving away too much or anything, but how would you approach a fight with Angela if that were to happen? Singapore versus fake Singapore. Sorry, there's something in my throat.
Little cough there.
I don't know, like most of the game planning, I just leave it to Major. So I'm kind of like the robot. So Major was like, all right, this is the game plan, this is what you got to do. I'm like, all right, I'll do that.
You know what? That's crazy because honestly, I was talking with Jake before you came. I think your strongest asset is your fight IQ. Because you've beat a lot of people from a broad spectrum of skills, right? I mean, you beat Michelle Nicolini and used a lot of. Major described it like this to me. Used some jiu-jitsu principles to do that, which you most certainly did. And then, of course, you beat Ayaka, who just fought and lost to the champ. And then, of course, your fight with Panda was razor close, and that was a striking match. So you've been able to deal with world championship Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You've fought the best two strikers in the division, which is Meng Bo and Panda. You've shown a wide variety of ways to win, and you've been in trouble. And you've adapted to that, right? Like even Ayaka, she had you in that scarf hold, right? And you were able to figure out a way to come and win. Meng Bo was landing some shots on you, but you've adapted and are able to change often mid-fight and show a wide array of skills and a wide array of avenues that you can attack from. Because you're more multidimensional. You have a wider degree of skill set. But even people who are hyper specialists with you tend to struggle. So I think it's crazy to think that you're just like a kind of a zombie out there because you adapt quite well in the fight.
Thanks. Yeah, cause that's how I try to train. Like I try not to like just focus on one discipline. Because to me, it's like I'm an MMA fighter, so I have to be kind of like well versed in different disciplines: jiu-jitsu, wrestling, striking, and like putting it all together. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you show the best fight IQ in the division because even that fight with the second fight with Panda, if you look at the adjustments from the first fight to the second fight, I mean that shit is night and day.
Yeah.
I mean that fight with Panda was a dogfight, and then by the end, in that fifth round, was your most dominant round. We were all pretty butthurt still that you. So I mean, what's the goal at this point? Because you fought Panda twice. So is the goal championship? Is the goal certain fights? Is the goal certain maybe different championship in a different division? Like if you're the architect here, what is the main goal and what's the path to it?
Yeah, so I guess the championship is always the end goal. So in between, I just hope that I can fight more. Like especially after the whole incident of not being able to sweat, I felt like it changed my mindset and perspective towards fighting a lot. I feel like any fight can be my last fight. I don't know when maybe like I can't sweat again. Like, it can happen anytime, right? Like or maybe I get injured and I can't fight again. So I feel like I don't take fighting for granted anymore. And when I thought I couldn't fight again, it made me kind of depressed, I would say. Yeah, and it makes me treasure fighting a lot more. And I just want to fight as often as I can. And I'm ready for anyone.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting, right? Because you did have that. So once something's taken away from you, you can sort of appreciate the value of it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then not to mention, like, fighting already has a pretty short window anyway. I mean, there's generally like a period of 10 to 15 years where you can do it at a high level.
And I feel like I'm in my prime now for sure.
For sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so I want to fight as often as I can. And
there's some interesting matchups for you. I think you're right, though. I think it's probably at a different division because, like, you and Stamp, that would be fucking sick. You and Ritu would be fun. You and Angela Lee, of course, would be the best.
Yeah, there's so many matchups to make at atomweight.
Yeah. Get some new. So that's below you, right?
That's below me. So
how would that weight cut go? Because they are pretty strict on the hydration. You're already fucking probably sweating over there.
Yeah, so I have to bring my walking weight down like maybe 2 or 3 kilos, and then the hydration should be okay. Yeah.
So just dieting, losing a little bit of muscle mass, maybe a little bit of body fat.
Yeah, for sure, you have to lose a bit of muscle mass to get lower weight.
So more cardio, just do more running, shrink the.
Yeah, just leaving it to my SNC coach. He takes care of my nutrition. So I already told him, next fight, 52, like, give me a meal plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever made that weight cut before?
No, I haven't been my first weight cut to 52. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just worry about that with the sweating issue, right? With trying to.
But now it's fully resolved.
So you haven't had an issue with
I
this
made a
since?
full recovery. Yeah, no
You haven't had
issue.
one
Yeah.
time? Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, full recovery.
Just don't do any psycho shit anymore. I mean, that.
Yeah, Major had to remind me no more Goggins challenge
Yeah.
after this fight.
Yeah, if you're thinking about doing that tomorrow, can we put you off that now, please? Like, let's not.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that shit on Instagram. Tag Goggins. I need somebody to have that dude see that you fought a championship fight and then did his crazy ass workout.
5-round war.
Yeah, 2 days later you started that shit. That's the thing too. Is like it might have been okay if you'd recovered first.
True. It's like the body's still under a lot of stress. And
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And plus, you did a little. I mean, one's weight cutting is not as bad, but you did a little weight cut anyway to go and do that. Plus damage to the body, and then that fucking crazy challenge.
Yeah.
And then you did an extra set. You did an extra set. What the fuck is wrong with you? That is wild, man. That's one of the craziest things I've ever heard. So I'm really glad that you've totally recovered from that. But yeah, you got some juicy action down there at a lower weight class. Have they? You just fought 2 days ago, so
Yeah. Actually, they suggested. So I had a post-fight interview after the fight. So I think they were saying like maybe me versus Ritu will be a fun one, because we both just beat Meng Bo. So if I want to go down, they suggested Ritu might be the next fight.
Especially if you want to fight sooner, because I guess Stamp and Angela are tied up already, right? So so what? So do you think that are they keen on that? I mean,
I think
is
so.
that the
I
move
think
for
it makes
them?
sense also, right? She's from Evolve and she's based in Singapore. It'll be easy to make that fight happen too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you forget how much of these fights probably have issues just because of
like
transportation.
travel visa and all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Khabib was supposed to be at the fights, right? Didn't they say something that he...
I think he got COVID. And
Did he get COVID, or did somebody he know was close by?
I think he got COVID. That's what I heard.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I didn't see him at all. Like the whole fight week, probably quarantine and all. Yeah.
Yeah, he must have been quarantined. That's kind of
Yeah.
bummer. But that dude though, his guy, that dude's he kept saying he's gonna kill everybody. Did you hear this?
Yeah. I'm like, come down.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, you're in Singapore. You can't be screaming out. You want to kill everybody in the division. I want to murder you. It's like, okay. The audience is like, Yeah. So if you go, how many fights have you had at one at this point?
I think at least 5 or 6 fights.
In one?
Yeah,
in
more.
One. Yeah, more already.
Because I had SFC, and my first 3 fights was out of 3 to 4 fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're 11 and 2 now?
I check it on like Topology or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 10 and 2. Yeah.
Did you? Oh, by the way, did you find Meng Bo's? I asked you a while ago if you could throw that up there. Yeah, let's take a look at her, because I think a lot of the audience doesn't know who she is. And this is only her second fight in one, right?
Look at the top. Look at that.
Yeah,
Tiffany
boss,
Teo.
Tiffany Teo, motherfucker.
I think she has fought a few times in one.
Okay, so
she fought like 2 or 3 times at atomweight.
4, 5.
Yeah, 5 fights.
Okay.
In one.
5 fights in one.
And she lost to Ritu and she lost to you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, her straight. And look at that. There's a lot of TKOs there too, man. Her hands are dangerous. Kicks hard.
And she used to fight at 57 kg too.
Yeah, she went up, right?
She went down and went up again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she has always been like going up and down throughout her whole
And go down to the bottom of that one, Jake, because I think that Jang Weili was her first fight.
Yeah, I think it was the first, both of their first fight.
That was both of their first fight.
I think so. Yeah, I might be wrong.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You're right.
Both 0-0.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
So by MMA math, you beat Jang Weili.
That'll be a fun one too.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
it. MMA math is awesome. Yeah, man. So what's the move going forward, like in terms of your training and everything? I mean, of course, I know you're doing a well-rounded skill set. But what I mean, if after the fight with Meng Bo, is there anything you took away from it, like stuff that you should work on, or was there anything that she did that really stuck out in your head, or part of your game you want to develop?
Yeah, I guess more like wrestling and grappling heavy, because even before the Meng Bo fight, after my last Panda fight, I was like, I think I'm just gonna start taking bitches down, Yeah, because it's like, I feel like I don't have a very durable face. I will get punched a few times. I will get cut here and there. Like my face starts swelling up. My face is not very durable, and I feel like the judges they're scared to see blood. So I'm like, I gotta go for like the fastest way to like finish the fight. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Major's theory
Yeah.
about the Panda fight, is that you wore the damage a little bit more.
And I was wearing a white rash guard. Right?
Yeah. He will not shut up about the white rash guard. He keeps going
Yeah,
the white rash guard. I told her the white rash guard. She didn't listen. He just keeps going on about that. She wore a different rash guard. She won.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, it is and it's always been a thing with Asian MMA. I feel like the blood is like, you see, like in the UFC, you see bleed, you're like, ugh. Whatever. But I guess it's because the damage is the highest scoring criteria under the one rules. But I don't know how much you put. What do you think you should? How much damage do you attribute to like a cut? Because you can just get nicked.
Right? It's like can be like just a touch, and it's like a sharp elbow, and you like get cut. It's
And
like,
it doesn't even hurt.
Really
Like it's the ones that slice that just barely touch you are the ones that ended up cutting you.
Yeah.
So I guess it's damage though. A cut is damage, but it doesn't really mean much. Like a cut to a fighter, it's just like kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah.
So I mean that's the thing about investing in your wrestling too, is that generally I feel like that at least in this region that wrestling tends to be the weakest skill set. Of course at the top level that's not always the case, right? But generally speaking I would say that's the case. And I just feel like wrestling gets more longevity, right? Because the fast twitch can go remarkably quick.
Yeah. It tends to fade later in the round.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also like you lose it fast. Like you can have it, and then it seems like one fight you're just a millisecond off. The fast twitch is just a tiny bit slower, and then as you get older and older, the fast twitch.
See the career of Tyrone Woodley.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys that require that fast twitchy kind of vibe, but the wrestling, man, you those old dudes can wrestle all day.
Yeah.
And that's just wrestling is just money in the bank. Yeah. And the best part is like in your fight, as soon as you got that first takedown. It totally changed the distance and the range, and then everything else came easier.
Yeah.
Right, like once she got a little nervous about it, the distance changed. She wouldn't commit so hard on her punches, and the second takedown was way easier.
Yeah. She's like, oh fuck, I have to watch my range.
Yeah. And it's in the back of her mind, and then it freezes up her striking a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're gonna have way more success there. You did land some shots though. In that first round. I can see your striking and everything developing, but your ring IQ, dude, is legit. Because a lot of the people that you fight don't adapt, and you adapt over time.
Yeah, they have kind of like a fixed way they want to win, like
yes,
this way only, like But to me, it's like it's MMA. There's many ways to win. I don't have to just use one way to win. Yeah,
and that's how you. I mean, how long have you been training jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu, I started around 2013. Yeah, so like
8-9 years, something.
Yeah, about there. Yeah.
And have you been training like consistency the whole time?
No. I hated jiu-jitsu at the start.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck this. I'm like, what you mean? I can't punch them in the face when I'm on top.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
Because I started with striking, so I was like, I just didn't really embrace jiu-jitsu at the start, and I suck at it. Probably that's why.
And that's how you can. I mean, I think you were a blue belt at the time, weren't you? A blue belt can beat Michelle Nicolini. In
a fight. I was a blue belt when I fought Michelle.
I mean, that goes to show you. First of all, that MMA is a different thing. Oh, did we lose her? First of all, that MMA is a different thing, and second of all, that if you train the right skill set, and if you go in totally one-dimensionally, it becomes so much easier to shut it down, right?
So that's the only thing I have to worry about. Right?
Especially because, like, even Michelle, she doesn't strike, even when she's on the ground.
Yeah, she's looking for the sub, like, trying to stay
but
heavy on top.
Only looking for the sub.
Yeah.
It kind of blows my mind that, like, coaches wouldn't get her to use ground and pound to set up her submissions.
Right? I mean, that's already kind of a niche, like, grappling, like, using strikes to open up stuff. Yeah.
And I'm super fascinated about these like knees to the head of a grounded opponent.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
And
you know who doesn't think it's awesome? Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
That's why you're getting to see it more recently, because I think one's been around long enough. Plus, they've changed the rules a few times over the last 5 years, right?
Yeah,
remember they used to allow the soccer kicks?
Yeah, it's removed.
And then they made that weird modified soccer kick where it's like the referee had to give you permission to punch somebody in the head. Remember that? Where they had like that weird down. I think it was when Arlovsky fought. Andrei Arlovsky head kicked. Was it Tim Sylvia in one?
I can't remember.
No,
But there was one fight like that where for I think 1 or 2 events they made it so that way you had to be like cleared by the referee.
It's kind of weird.
It was super weird.
Yeah,
and they got rid of it
yeah.
immediately because then
it breaks the momentum and
yeah, exactly. And you're like in the moment, right? You're not thinking like, do I have permission to
like what?
wreck this dude in the face?
Yeah.
But then they added so they've changed it a lot. But now that it seems like the rules are more solidified and that they've really established their scoring criteria, that you're starting to see this new niche develop.
No slams on the head though.
Yeah, unless you're Angela Lee, and then you get a freebie. Or no, Christian actually got disqualified for his.
He got DQ'd for that.
Yeah, but the first time she fought Panda, that was definitely a suplex, and it
so
led
too.
right to the finishing sequence.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I have a video on that if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. And that wasn't that in the 5th round as well. It was late. It was late in the fight.
Yep.
And then she suplexed her, kind of rocked her, and then she followed it up and finished her with ground and pound or something like that. But yeah, I love it when you start to see, because it makes the ground game so much more dangerous. Like if you have somebody in that front headlock and you can just knee them in the head.
Grounded knees from front headlock sucks.
Oh, you cannot stop there at all, because the UFC they do that shit where they all like base out and they'll just chill there. No, eat these knees.
Yeah.
And then the crucifix and the top side control makes it so interesting. I need to make sure we're training that because it's fun.
Yeah.
And it works. You know, it's one of those things.
Really well, yeah.
Isn't it weird how the rules
and the pressure they put on them to like just move, and it opens up subs, yeah.
Especially turning their back.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to turn in and hip escape, and those knees are coming into your nose, your only option, especially that half Nelson, that's what made that so interesting. Because you really block her from turning into you anymore with the half Nelson. So it forces her to either eat the knee. You're giving her like, what do you want to do? You want to give me your back, or do you want to take the knee? Yeah, that's so interesting. We need to do that at the gym. You know what's funny too is that. Isn't it funny how like the UFC and the unified rules change how martial arts works?
Yeah, that's right.
Because why don't people train knees on the why can't you go to MMA gym and then train knees on the ground? Because they're not allowed in the UFC.
Yeah, and you don't see that so often. It's like not the norm, I guess. It's like.
But if you're at a martial arts school, like another,
if you're just learning to like defend yourself and hurt people,
true.
Then why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
You know, isn't that crazy? Even something like soccer kicks. Like I don't understand. They're so effective, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't like if you want to do real martial arts, not changing it just because the rules say. But yeah, you drill your soccer kicks. You don't like punt your teammate in the head. Guys, Stronghold, look out! I'm coming for you. Soccer kicks are now allowed in MMA.
My injury's flared up again. I definitely can't come back to training.
Jake's like, okay, see you later. I'm not coming to you. Guard pullers are fucked like you, Jake. You dirty guard pullers. When you eat one of those knees to the head or the soccer kicks, then you're done.
Fuck this.
Yeah. So that's crazy. How many more years do you think you're gonna do this, Tiff? I mean, is there
at least like 3 to 5? It really depends, you know, if I get injured along the way or like anything unexpected happens. But if everything goes well, I see myself doing this for like 3 to 5 more years. Yeah.
I mean, I gotta ask, because you've been training. Like, when did you start like I'm gonna fight training? Like, how long ago was that?
Probably around 2014 or 15. Yeah.
So dealing with 6-7 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Did you ever imagine you would get to where you are?
No, never. Like when I first started martial arts, I just wanted to lose some weight.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this looks fun. I'm gonna learn a new skill and like try to lose some weight. Yeah, and then one thing just led to another. Yeah.
And now you're the number one contender, number one ranked.
It's quite crazy.
Isn't that crazy? You've had 2 title fights, like all these interesting matchups. I mean, what is it? It must be crazy, right? Especially coming from a place like Singapore. I mean, MMA is pretty new here. I mean, you're definitely the real. There's a couple other ones, but you're the real female MMA Singaporean pioneer. Like you're the fucking OG. There's ones that maybe did it first that you know, you especially back in the day, you'd get those people that would like take one fight and then become a coach, and then they're one championship fighters forever, and they use it and they get their students. And no shame, right? People got to make their money and do their thing. But you've stuck with it, got to the top of the division. I mean, it must be crazy. It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, it is, and it's like kind of no one to go to for advice. Like, it's like, because no one has done it before, right? So it's kind of like trial and error as I go, like, all right, this might work, this might not work. Like, kind of have to roll the dice and just go with the flow. Yeah.
And then what's it like to just see that one next to your fucking name? Having Michael Chiavello be like, she's the number one strawweight. I mean, come on, dude. That must be fucking dope.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially now you're established, you're getting that, you know, it's kind of the blessing and the curse about MMA is that the more you do it, you start to maximize your earning potential, you start to maximize your opportunities.
I guess
but it's as you age and it's as you get older. But now you're at the point where you're an established vet, you're at the top of the division, these all of a sudden these really interesting, I mean, you and Angela would be a great fight, crazy fight.
Yeah.
Especially for Singaporean MMA, like
if crowds are allowed back in as well, you'll sell that thing out. It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Because don't do it until they allow full crowds back in. So you've got the atmosphere.
True. Yeah.
So how many were there yesterday in the arena?
I think the max was like 1,000 with the COVID guidelines now. The maximum allowed is 1,000.
Do you miss like the big ass crowd, or is it one of those things for you? It's just like
Yeah, I like it when it's like a big enough crowd or no crowd.
Yeah.
I hate it when it's like
in the middle.
and it's like you can hear every single one shouting like shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like let me do my thing. Like they'll be shouting like trying to corner you.
What did you hear? What did you hear? You must have heard one thing, because even I remember when I was fighting, I would always remember like some idiotic thing I would hear from some dude in the audience, and I'm just like, I'm sitting there punching somebody, and then I hear somebody say some shit, and I'm just like, really?
Yeah. Like I think it was my Panda fight where the stadium was like it was not full house. Like I think it was probably like just a couple of hundred of people.
The second one, right?
Yeah, the second Panda fight. And then I could hear like a lot of people trying to corner me. I'm like, trying to get a takedown. I'm like, what the fuck do you think I'm trying to do?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not for that.
Do you find it distracting at all?
It's just annoying. Like, I still try to tune out and like pick up Major's voice.
Yeah.
But it's just annoying to have them at the background and hearing every single one. But when it's full house, it's different. Everyone is cheering, gets kind of muffled out, and it becomes a different energy. It's like they're cheering for you. Yeah.
It's kind of like a background noise rather than being able to hear
like a specific
certain voices.
instruction, like shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you can hear everything. When we went to which one were we at? The Christian Lee Ock fight, right? When we went to that one, it was the same thing. They kept you all so separated, but there was always some drunken. Usually, it's an American or someone from the UK. Let's be honest. It's usually screaming out from the rafters, and everybody can hear it, and you're just like, ugh. Because Singaporeans are so quiet. And they like to cheer whenever, but then they're quiet in between.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go to US, it's just madhouse all the time. You can't really make it out, but you can hear the dumb shit people say at the indoor stadium. Well,
oh no, go on.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say there was some when we went to the last one. Major was with us as well, and there's some idiots pissed, like giving fighting advice and stuff, and then Major's just sat next to me, going, "Fucking idiots." Don't
sounds about right.
Yeah, he's starting to sober up at that point, so he was getting a little upset.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, Tiff, that there's really no one to sort of go to about, especially a female, right? Like being a female mixed martial artist, a Singaporean female mixed martial artist.
Especially like trying to cut weight at first. It was kind of like, I don't even know what I'm trying to do here. Like guys and girls, we are so different biologically. What works for a guy, might not work as well for me. So I kind of have to like figure my way, try and error. Especially like girls with our periods, like it fucks up your hormones, and your weight might just go up out of nowhere. Yeah, so it's a lot of try and error for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and when and women do cut weight differently than men too. It is much harder for women to get off weight, generally speaking, than women. So, what do you think your role will be in sort of the community after you're done fighting? I mean, do you want to be like the girl that people go to? Because I mean, as I mentioned, you're going to be a bit of a pioneer here. So I think there will be a really interesting post-fight career, especially in the female MMA arena, right? As martial arts gets more and more popular here. I mean, a lot of girls train in Singapore, man.
Yeah, a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah, but MMA not so much.
Yeah,
I think it's more like specialized. They either do boxing or they do Muay Thai or they do Jiu-Jitsu. Hardly you get a girl who like kind of want to do everything.
Yeah, they're definitely lesser.
Yeah.
Would you think that you have a role in maybe building up the scene when you're done? How do you want your your career to go toward, like in regards to martial arts after you're done fighting? Do you want to coach? Do you want to like still hang around the gym? Like, what do you think you'd like to do?
I haven't really thought about it. As of now, I'm still like really focused on just fighting and being a good fighter. I haven't really thought about the coaching aspect after I kind of retire. Yeah.
You're coaching now, right?
Yeah, mostly like more like martial arts for fitness and like yoga. Yeah.
But I'm sure you must get some of the girls to come up. And
Like after my last fight, I have like random girls messaging me. Oh, I want to do a PT with you. Like, yeah. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice feeling, when you get people coming up to you like, oh, that was cool. I want to learn that, and yeah, it's nice to like kind of inspire people along the way. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not just like training only at one place. You're entrenched in all the communities here. Like you go train everywhere. You're training at everybody's gym. You're friends with everybody. Like you've literally been to like every gym in Singapore to train with people. So a lot of people get to see you. A lot of people get to train with you. So I mean, I think you're already entrenched pretty deeply in that you compete in jiu-jitsu. Like, so
I try to compete as much as I can. Yeah, when I can. Yeah.
Do you think you'll do that in between maybe the next
I
fights?
want to, but it's kind of like, like with the SGI, Singapore Grappling Invitational, it's like, me and Oz, we came up with that. and we started it because COVID was kind of like nothing happening. We wanted like some competitions to go on, and I was hoping to get myself a match with that.
So you're like, I'm gonna make my own organization.
Yeah, I'm
just
like,
so I can wrestle
there's no
some bitch.
comps. I'll make my own comp. Yeah, but the thing is, I can't find any girls to go against me in Singapore.
Yeah.
It's like Oz is trying really hard too. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just make it a platform for people to compete.
Sure.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because now you're in the business of organizing. How's that? I mean, is it a pain? Like, do you enjoy it?
It's fun. The planning is not that fun, but the end result is really fun to, see the athletes back competing and just having a platform to, to showcase their talent. Yeah, so it's a nice feeling, but the planning is a pain in the ass, especially with the COVID protocols. It's like, it's like someone pulls down their mask and you might get into trouble. Yeah, so it's the COVID just fucking shit up. Yeah, it'd be so much easier if there's like no COVID protocols. Yeah.
Well, I think we're all about to catch the Omicron, so it seems like that's just going to be inevitable at this point. I hope we're getting out of this pandemic though, for sure. Yeah, you guys are the only one. Alvin was able to do Lion City.
Yeah, Lion City, that was
you
nice.
guys were able to do those shows, and I mean, I know it's a pain in the ass, but it really is a big motivator for everybody when there's shows to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's nothing much going on.
The energy was so low for so long.
Yeah. It's just something to look forward to.
Exactly. Something to train for as well. For the guys that do like to compete, you get the hobbyists that pretty much always rock in, but some people need competition to get them to the next level, right? Because they'll be in, they'll be out, they'll come in once or twice a week, but then the competition comes around and if they want to compete, then they're there every day, all the time. And when those when your guys' events were going on, the gym was just packed. Like people finally felt like positive energy. Prior to that, there's open close, like two people, partners, and then mask on, mask off, 5, and it was 8, and then back down to 2, and then
so much changes here and there. Yeah.
And it's so hard to get motivated when you're just constantly dealing with that shit. So the fact that you guys are still making the effort, even though it's a massive pain in the ass to do it all, is really, really nice because it does get the community vibing. It gets people working, people training.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer, right? Because so many people have started jiu-jitsu over the last 2 years.
And kind of like on off with the training because of the protocols. Yeah.
And really struggling to find consistency.
Yeah.
As we all have. Because a lot of time for businesses and even for your training, I'm sure there were times where it's tough to train, right? I saw you training in the fucking garage at your your apartment and everything.
Yeah, the first circuit breaker, I was like, oh fuck, I have a title fight coming up, and I had to have a gym to train at.
And it's circuit breaker.
Yeah.
It's been a challenging couple years, huh? But it's good to see things
kind of like getting better,
starting to, or at least
slowly,
not backsliding. At this point, I'll just take things not backsliding. And it seems like the world's sort of starting to adapt to everything, but
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Have you guys picked up? Has the gym been getting?
Yeah, it's getting. Classes are pretty full now. Like,
nice.
Yeah.
Probably gonna get a few more in there now.
Yeah,
people want to train with no chill. People want to train with Tiffany Teo. All right, man. Well, you got anything else? You want to shout out anybody, or anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this bad boy up?
Anything else? I guess a shout out to my team, Matrix MMA. Like, a lot of people wonder where I train at, who I learn from. It's from Major, and most of my training partners are people who come to the gym, just white belts, purple belts, blue belts. I just get my reps in with them. It's like, I don't have any world champions to train with because I'm trying to become a world champion myself. Yeah. And there's none in Singapore. So, so if you want your rounds with Tiffany, she's Matrix MMA, that's a place to go. Hong Kong Street.
And you're down to train with absolutely anybody.
I train with everyone. White belt, blue belts, purple belts. Like day one beginners, I train with everyone. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like my podcast markets Major's gym more than my own.
Yeah.
You and Kai Shong, Major's been on this motherfucker like 10 times. Major, you're welcome, bro. Yeah, so go train with Major, and you are just awesome. I love that. It's the best thing about martial arts. Like, you can't go train with LeBron James, right?
Yeah.
You can't go do that.
That's the beauty of like martial arts. Can train with like a world champ, like on the
and they're
mats
cool.
with you.
They'll roll with you. Everybody's super nice. Like, have you found any egos or anything going around training at the gym? Have you found it's like it's not that bad in Singapore, but sometimes like in the US, if like the UFC guy rolls up to the gym or something, these guys have their chip on their shoulder and they're wanting to show them how. Have you experienced any of that?
Not really as of now. Yeah.
Yeah, people are pretty chill with you, right?
Yeah, it's pretty chill. Yeah. I mean, if they try to roll hard, I'll roll hard back. I try to match I try to match the intensity, right? If you're trying to be nice, I'll be nice. If you're trying to be a bitch, I'll show you who's the real bitch.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's the move. All right, Jake. Is there anything else we should cover here?
Should the three of us quickly look at next week's first big card of the year?
Oh yeah.
Quick predictions.
Do you mind we break down the UFC next week? All right, let's do that.
All right, give me a sec.
Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gane next week. That card is a banger. And there was a good, just to shout out, there was also a good UFC today. Calvin Kattar.
Oh yeah.
Did you see
No,
did you
not
catch
yet.
the fight?
Yeah, I'm planning to watch.
Do you know? Did I spoil it for you already?
Yeah, I've seen it on Instagram.
Okay, so I didn't spoil it.
Yeah.
Sorry, we've.
So yeah, Calvin Kattar just put it on Giga, and I think most people thought. Did you think Giga was going to take that?
Yeah, I thought so too.
His
yeah.
body shots are just nasty. It was a good fight, but Calvin Kattar is tough, and he throws like 6 punches at a time. His boxing combinations are so tight. So shout out to Calvin Kattar, who sort of Max Holloway'd Giga a little bit.
What Max Holloway did to him a year ago, he just did to someone else, which obviously proves how great Max Holloway is. Stronghold fighter of the year.
I think I saw, yes, according to Jake. I think they said that he landed like 70-something punches in the last round. I think he threw like between 300 and 400. Not Max Holloway. Max Holloway threw like 600 or something. It was fucking crazy. But Calvin Kattar just put the beat down on. That was crazy. So, yeah, that was a good one. And, yeah, let's break down this. So can you throw the card up there? Because we are definitely going to cover this fight. This is going to be awesome.
So, straight at the top there, Ngannou Gane. It's going to be amazing.
Ooh, Tiffany Teo.
Ngannou.
Give us the prediction there on that one.
Yeah, I think Ngannou got that.
How do you think it will go?
Like a knockout.
I'm going to get all conspiratorial a second, though, because have you seen what Francis has said? Because it's the last fight of his contract. And he's basically said, I'm not re-signing on what I'm being paid. No more being paid this. I want paying like superstar money. Might the UFC, could it get a little, dirty in there if he goes to the judges?
I don't know, but I do wonder about that, though, because it's strange. Why wouldn't they pay him? I mean, he's the heavyweight. He's so many knockouts. He's so marketable. But Cyril Gane could ruin all of it. Oh, yeah. He's slick, man. He's slick. I've doubted that dude quite a few times, and he might get it. It's all about the knockout, right? If Ngannou can land the knockout, then
it's obviously
obviously
not going to the judges, so we don't have to worry about it.
But really, no one's ever outstruck him, except for Stipe. But he like more wrestle fucked him when he beat him. But later on, he was definitely landing the clean striking. But I don't think Gane's going to really mix in the wrestling or anything. But I definitely think Cyril is the slicker of the ones. I don't know. I'm sort of leaning towards Cyril Gane, actually, believe it or not. I don't know who will win this one, but this is a damn good heavyweight title fight. And then the winner gets picograms. Get a little picograms. John Jones versus the winner. They got to do that, right?
Yeah, I reckon.
It'd be interesting to see how John fights now that he's put on all this weight.
And training with Cejudo too.
Yeah, Cejudo's been everywhere.
Right, with the weight.
What is he? This motherfucker is like training everywhere. He's also in the corner of Figueiredo next week.
Oh shit!
Because Figueiredo and Moreno are the undercard, and then he was training with Moreno before that, and he's with John Jones, and he's with Zhang Weili.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Where's this dude? Like, what is he doing?
Just full on coach mode.
Yeah. But he's got his win though. He's gonna be a damn good coach, I feel like. But he wants them to bring him back to fight Volkanovski.
Oh yeah.
I think Dana's not into it.
Dana then said, "Oh no, it doesn't work like that. You can't just jump back in and fight in any weight class you want.
Why not?
We never do that." You're like, "Yeah, you do." George St. Pierre, like,
yeah, you do that all the time. Yeah, you do that all the time. What are you talking about? John Jones, he's doing it right now.
Again, allegedly to do with pay and what he wants, and they won't give him.
Yeah. Thing with Cejudo though is like you wouldn't want him to come in on like a one fight deal or something like that. Because you wouldn't want him to come in
and then be like,
and fuck off again. Yeah. Because it jams up the division and it fucks with lineage and. All right, so throw that up there again. What do we got here? What do you think about the co-main Moreno and Figueiredo?
Moreno.
Yeah. Isn't he just like the feel good story of MMA? Him and Glover, that old bitch.
Yeah, last year.
Glover Teixeira. I mean, when Brandon Moreno won the title, it was one of those ones where I was like, I was a little caught up by it. I was like, oh, this is like the feel good moment of the year. And those are two good fights, man. I think Moreno gets it done too. Figueiredo looked like he cracked a little bit in that last fight.
I don't know. That part of me felt like that Moreno, like Figueiredo had a bit of an off night, and Moreno fought the fight of his life.
Yeah,
like can he do that again?
Well, they could definitely book the rematch if they do it because the first fight was a draw. So, right now it's 0-1 for Moreno. All right, and what is the rest of this card? I'm not even sure if I remember all of the ones outside of the.
Michael Pereira versus Andre Fiallo.
Okay.
Michael Pereira is the crazy kicks
Michel
in it.
Pereira, yeah. Yeah,
Michel's
got jacked too.
Yeah.
Jacked. Okay, and then we got...
Greg Hardy versus Olynyk.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh,
It's an
great.
easy kill
Apparently
there,
so.
right?
Is Olynyk 50 years old right now? How old is Alexei Olynyk? The master
Old
of
enough
the...
to take Greg Hardy down and wrestle him.
Yeah, but he's a little chinny though. He's a little because he's like 50 years old. How old is it? Can you quick? He's got to be like 45 or 46 or something like that. I think he made his pro.
44 and Greg Hardy's 33.
shit.
Yeah, he's getting old.
Dang.
But all he's got to do is put you in a headlock, and then you can do that Ezekiel choke.
Yeah.
I mean, that
I
is
was watching
crazy.
instructionals of that.
Have you tried it? And
No,
in the gym?
so there was this instructional. They were like, you just have to trust the technique. It's like there's no breakdown. Just trust the technique and go for it.
That's what he said.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's true though. Like, you really have to believe in it.
Have you tried it in the gym?
No, I haven't.
You should try it. And I think the move is to do it with the MMA gloves too, because you get more surface area. Because basically what he does is he gets people in the bottom mount or the bottom side, and then he does the rear naked choke grip, and then pushes that, and then punches through, and he keeps his head real tight to give some pressure there.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be my plan A, you know. It's like his plan A, but it's like that's the last plan for me.
Yeah.
It's like
But there is
just
some...
pulls mount to it. I'm like,
Well,
what?
Major and I were talking on the last podcast we did together about the sort of the martial arts idea and concept of training funk. Because, you know, like you get some guys that have that, like Ayaka's scarf hold, for example, right? And Olynyk's Ezekiel choke. You get guys that become really, really good at a weird-ass technique. And because you don't see it so often, it's very hard to defend.
Catches you off guard.
Yeah, and honestly, like, if someone's mounting you, a way to finish the fight when someone's mounting you, like having a really good technique there, even if it's a Hail Mary, is interesting. Because it controls the posture, so you can't punch, so it's defensively sound. And then if you have even the potential to threaten somebody there, if you're in a, like, your fuck position.
At the very least, you're going to get him to move. And possibly give you the space to put your guard back in.
But there's some of those, I mean, obviously he gets it so much that it works.
Yeah.
But who's as good at it as him, and can other people get to that level? But it's another one is like the Von Flue choke.
Oh, yeah.
I do that one all the time. That's another, like, Ovin St. Preux does a really good one. I think he's got like 4 or 5 wins with that move.
Yeah, he's got an insane number of wins with it. To the point where they were saying, oh, you should rename it the OSP choke.
Yeah, and maybe you should, but you get a few people that get those funky techniques. Or, you know, some people have like funky wrestling or like weird striking that's like
Buggy
offbeat.
choke.
And total buggy chokes.
Yeah, buggy chokes.
But even the striking style, you know, like you get some of those people that have like weird timing.
Tony
broken
Ferguson.
rhythm.
Yeah, they don't react in the normal way. Because most people, they're taught the same way, so the reactions are somewhat similar. And when you get somebody who's like offbeat
like,
and does weird shit, it kind of makes it hard to fight him. Tony Ferguson, great example.
Oh, yeah, Tony.
And then right down the bottom there, you got Cody Stamen versus Said Nurmagomedov. So I wonder if Khabib will be back for that. Not if he's got the Rona.
Khabib.
Not if he's got the Rona. But see, I think he's still in Singapore now, so...
Yeah, but they're not going to let him
He's
leave.
still in Singapore.
Oh, he left already?
I saw his Instagram. It feels like he's not in Singapore anymore.
Oh, I figured he was still
Yeah.
quarantining. That's why. But maybe he got it earlier on in the week or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's a bummer. It would have been cool to meet him, huh?
Amazing.
Would have been so cool to meet him. Okay, and is that the main card?
Yep, main card. Just have a quick look at the prelims.
Anything juicy there in the prelims?
Oh, wait, so Montgomery. There you go. Adolfo Vieira, Wellington Two-Man. Nothing too exciting. A quick look.
Okay, cool.
Early
Early prelims. I don't think there's going to be much there.
No, nothing too exciting on that one.
Well, I think we got most of it. So next week on the podcast, we'll cover the fights. I think so. Ron and Steven were mentioning they may work out something with them and get them on the podcast.
We could all watch it together.
Yeah, we could do like a live thing.
Yeah.
And then I want to get Matt Polino on again as well soon. Did you meet him? You know Matt Polino
Yeah, I know him.
from Fox Gloves and whatever.
Yeah.
Crazy
The new
motherfucker.
gym, right?
Yeah, crazy motherfucker. But he's a
Yeah, I've seen him at grappling tournaments.
yeah. Oh, he's a psycho. But he's like the biggest MMA nerd I know, other than me. He knows all the fights. He watches every fight, and he's just like he's a guy that I can just geek out hardcore with any sort of martial art for ages. So look forward to that. And was that it?
Yep.
Okay, so next week we'll cover the main event. Tiffany, #1 contender. It won championship. No chill, Teo.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so fucking pumped for you. I'm so pumped for you. You're doing so well. It's amazing. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Everybody, this is the Stronghold Podcast, episode 64. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.